Hey everyone. So thank you, Sue, and thank you for Dr. Rox for allowing me to be here and talk about my passion. My name is Dr. Tequilla Hill, and I'm actually the assistant faculty director here at Capella, and I'm also core faculty. So I waited a very long time to work at Capella, following in the footsteps of Dr. Rox and Dr. Anna Lynn. Capella was never hiring faculty because people don't leave because they love it so much. So when the opportunity, I think I told Sue this, so when the opportunity came for me to teach her, I was like, heck yeah. Hold on, Sue. Before I start, I see Angel has her hand up. I don't know if that means stop or keep talking, or I don't know.
It means she has a question, but
Do we want to hold that till after?
yeah,
You want
she
me
put
to?
her hand down. I think we're good.
Okay. Just
So
want to
if
honor
you
that.
want to
Okay.
jump in,
Okay. Just want to honor that. But I do ask, okay, no problem. They'll have some, well, I know I like to follow the rules for the most part. I know I talk for about 25 minutes and I have time for Q&A, so I'll try to make sure that I do that because I love this topic and I could easily eat up 3 hours of this. So I'll make sure that I am brief. But Sue, just like in supervision, wrap me up. Like when we get to like 20, just hit me with the signal, DM me like you did in class. All right, it's about time to wrap up. So I'll make sure to keep it succinct. But um, self-care was actually my dissertation topic. I was working at a mental health facility in Broward County, Florida. I will not say the name of it, but burnout was rampant. I didn't know what burnout was. A lot of my peers were burnt out. I went to supervision on site and I tried to get some understanding about it. And it was very much so like minimized. At that time, I had a caseload of 60. Don't cringe, Roxanne. I know. I didn't tell y'all what I was going through because I thought that's what all therapists did. I had a caseload of 60. I was doing case management and crisis. I was doing in-house therapy. I had a subpar supervisor on site, but I had an amazing Nova supervisor. So my Nova supervisors were like my lifeline. They really navigated me through the system of how to thrive, not just survive in it. Also, at that time, I was in my doc program, right? So I was able to get really good feedback and direction about boundaries, what I could say no to, and what was really abusive practices in the workplace. I'm just going to be honest. All of y'all are probably in internship or going into internship, have had jobs, and it's okay to say no. And I tell everyone, when in doubt, connect with your supervisor, connect with your Capella supervisor, just to make sure, hey, like my contract says I'm supposed to see 20 people a week. I'm seeing 40. Like, tell me what I'm able to do. Like, when in doubt, please ask your Capella supervisor, because I feel like at the end of the day, everyone's hearts and minds is aligned and they're going to tell you the truth, right? So that's where my topic came from. I had a heart attack. I don't know if you know this, Roxanne. I had a heart attack in my doctoral program when I got to my dissertation because of burnout, stress, but I also had a congenital heart issue. I had surgery on a Friday. I tried to go back to school on Monday. Of course, my mentors told me go home. Chris Burnett was like, go home. What are you doing? And I'm like, but I have to pass my class. My professors were like, are you crazy? Go home. You're fine. At work, I actually lost my job. Yes, I could have sued them, but I was a poor doc student. I didn't have time for all of that. At the time, my dissertation was about therapist burnout, and I decided to switch it and talk about therapist wellness and self-care because that was the path I was on. So when I was writing my dissertation, I was also healing my body from what I had been through. And again, had I not been in my program and had those mentors and those supervisors and those professors like loving me, having an ecosystem of support, I don't know where I'd be. So I'm saying that because that's really my story, and that's really how I created my dissertation. So I'm going to start here. Sue and Dr. Rox, I know I didn't have to have slides, but I do have a few slides, and I can and will share slides if needed. But in light of the joys and complexities of doing emotional labor, self-care becomes an important aspect of a therapist's personal and professional growth. Although therapists are trained to hold space for others, we often do not create the space to consistently care for ourselves. Self-care is defined as the integration of a therapist's emotional, social, physical, and spiritual health. Overall, the need for self-care is of paramount importance because of the inherent stress that is involved in working with people. I know I said a lot. I just want y'all to absorb that just for a second. Yeah. Yeah. I want everyone to connect with your why. Okay. Take a moment. Y'all could have done anything in the world, but you chose to come to our MFT program. You didn't choose the others, you chose ours. So I want everyone to take a few minutes to go back to that time when you chose to be an MFT, when you chose to heed the call to do this like sacred work, because I look at therapy as sacred work. Okay. I want everyone to go back to that time. Just take a moment and go back there. And if you want to share, we can share. If you don't want to share, you don't have to share. But everyone, let's just kind of settle in and go back to that time, including my committee members, board members, and professors, ex-professors. Go back to that. Probably haven't been there in a while. And if you're new here, go back to that new time. What emotion do you feel? What energy comes through your body? Is it excitement? Is it peace? Is it fulfillment? Is it a pull? Okay. Drop in the chat what that was like for you. What emotion, what energy came up? Yeah. What came up for you when you thought about choosing to do this work, this very sacred work? Okay. Emotional and relaxed, peace. What else? Purpose, confident, yes, fulfillment, nervousness, excitement, unison, hope, pull, gratitude. I love it. Excited, happy, purpose. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful, y'all. My calling. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Thank y'all for sharing. Thank y'all for sharing. Now, I start off with the story of me working at a very high stress agency and having some health issues. But the part that I skipped is my master's program. So before I got my doctorate, I was in a master's program. And in my first semester, I had Dr. Rocks. And ethics was a class that everyone was afraid of, including myself. I'm like, okay, ethics, law, like, parent, law, get in trouble, right? And when I tell you the way Dr. Roxanne approached that class, because she is a systemic thinker, she approached the class from a social constructionist aspect of like, these are the things that keep us safe, and these are the things that keep our clients safe. I also love that Dr. Rox taught us that we are humans before we are therapists, and we are allowed to have lives, and we don't have to be perfect, and we're allowed to draw boundaries, and we're allowed to say no. And as a 22-year-old young lady, that really freed me, because I took quite literally, kind of like when people, go to seminary, like, I'm a therapist, I have to be this way, I have to look this way. And Dr. Rocks, who had a tattoo as well, by the way, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a professor, she has a tattoo, I have tattoos. Okay, so I'm not so out there, right? Like it freed me to be human, and it freed me to bring the fullness of who I am to my work. So Dr. Roxanne, thank you for oh my gosh, don't get emotional, I just put my makeup on. Thank you for bringing the fullness of who you are to this work and to your teaching. Dr. Rox also ran the clinic that we all worked out of, DTI, and she was herself. She was vivacious. She was optimistic. She was, her pedagogy of teaching was so collaborative, so loving, so kind, but she didn't perform. And she allowed us all to see that all of us had something to bring to this field, and we didn't have to perform or be fake. We can bring the essence of who we are. So this is the box of ethics. Follow the box and then be yourself, both and. So thank you for that, Dr. Roxanne, because again, I know a lot of peers that didn't have a Roxanne Bamman in their ethics class, and they're still coming out of performing. So thank you for allowing me to be celebrated for being who I am. I just want to tell you that. I was going to email that to you, but I'm just going to tell you in front of everybody. So thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So in talking about ethics, I know y'all know ethics. You've seen the ethics, you've read the ethics, but I think a lot of people, I'm actually going to pull this up, and I think I have permission for me to share my screen, Sue. Do I have permission to share my screen? Hold up. Make sure. I want to show everyone this, because people will breeze past this part of the ethics in COMFT if you're not looking for it. And I want everyone to see it. Can everyone see my screen? Okay. Will someone read this for me, please?
I would do that. All right. AAMFT ethics. Standards regarding impairment and competence are outlined in the Association for Marriage and Family Therapy Code of Ethics and the Commission on Accreditation for Marriage and Family Therapy, COAMFT, core competences. According to COAMFT 2004, subdomain 5.4.2 states, MFTs must monitor attitudes, personal well-being, personal issues, and personal problems to ensure they do not impact the therapy process adversely or create vulnerability for misconduct. According to Marriage and Family Therapy Code of Ethics 2015 in Principle 3.3, therapists must seek appropriate professional assistance for their personal problems or conflicts that may impair work performance or clinical judgment.
Yeah. Drink it in, not to freak you out, just so you're aware. By show of hands, and you can do real hands or Zoom hands, how many of us knew, put your hand down, Sue, I know you know that's there, but everybody else, who knew that this was there? Because it's there, and because we're responsible of knowing that that's there. Dr. Roxanne, you don't get to raise your hand either. I know you know. Who knew that it was there? Raise your hand. I'm trying to look around and see everyone's hand. Okay, who did not know it was there? Right, yeah. Oh, okay, thank you for being honest, y'all. Yeah, so there is a consequence for not caring for yourself. There is a consequence for operating impaired. I think a lot of people think impairment means you're on substance or something like that. No, impairment is impairment. Anything that impairs your clinical work, anything impairs that can cause harm to your clients. And again, not to scare you, but to bring awareness to you. Any thoughts or any comments about that anybody wants to share? You're safe. No judgment. Anybody?
You know, it's hard to know, like, because everyone has problems. It's ongoing. You know, we're just all a work in progress. So one thing that's hard for me is to know at what point am I impaired versus just, you know, like at what point do I need to seek that professional help to work through those problems, you know, because you know, there's bad days and there's been times my supervisor's like, can you work today? You know, like I got in an accident on the way to work. Am I okay to do therapy that day? Just little things like that, you know, like.
So that's I'm so happy you said that. Yes, like problems happen all the time. Like we don't have to be perfect. Yes, we are works in progress. We are masterpieces at the same time. But that's very different than I'm having panic attacks, and my panic attacks are influencing me canceling my clients all the time. Probably need to refer them out or reduce my caseload. Or I have heavy depression and I'm spilling my depression on my clients. I'm having a divorce and I hate all whatever going through that, and it's spilling in my therapy and it's not there. That's what I mean. I don't mean us not being able to go through problems. I mean, our clinical work is not clear anymore because our stuff is messing with our clinical lens. It's a really, really great point that you brought up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Who else? Thank you for being brave. Dr. Rox, you got any thoughts on that?
I saw Jessica's hand up. Jessica Glenn, did you want?
Yeah. I was going to say, I do have an example, kind of going along with the question that she just had. So I had something happen recently for me. So my brother committed suicide in 2017. So he was my trigger client when we did residency. And I've done individual therapy, but I haven't in 2 years. So I just recently, this past week, had a client that was in crisis, and I had to, you know, do the session where it was pretty triggering, but I did show it in supervision last night, actually, and I was told I did a good job, and no one knew that I was having these worries in my mind, which was good. But what it did for me, though, is after the session, I was so proud of myself, like, because the client did go from, we had a scale and she was at a 6, And by the time we got off, she was at a 2. So I felt really good about how the session went, how we connected, and how I was able to help her in those moments. And I was super proud of that. But then I got very emotional after, about an hour or so after the session, um, because I was beating myself up of why could I help someone else but not my brother? So, and I was not expecting my mind to go to that place.
We never do.
Yeah. So what it did for me was, that was my kind of like, okay, I need to do something for me to process this. So I actually scheduled a therapy session for next week for myself to get back into it. So I think that kind of goes with, how do we know? The question was how do we know? Um, and I think it's those moments where we're kind of emotionally connected in a way that we're not able to put to the side, or it's triggering us in ways that we weren't expecting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like that's what my like signal or red flag was like, okay, I definitely need to process this trauma a little bit more than I thought I needed
Mm-hmm.
to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Jessica, thank you for sharing that. And I send you
you're
so much
welcome.
compassion. I also send you like
Mm.
gratitude for sharing that because, when I think about our human experiences, and the things that have hurt us or the things that have caused us pain, everything all of us don't label stuff as trauma. I have wounds, right? I have bruises. That's also my superpower. I know how to suffer very well. I choose not to suffer, but I do know how to suffer, right?
Mhm.
But if my suffering is getting in the way of me being able to function every day, I probably need to
Right.
go talk to someone. So I love that you're like,
Right.
okay, I was evoked. I don't use the word trigger. I say evoked. This thing moved me. Did it
Yeah,
move me to offer my clients more compassion? Or did it move me to
absolutely.
go into myself? Because remember, as
Mhm.
Dr. Roxanne teaches us all in ethics, if something is for the benefit of the client, that's very different to offer something when you personally share, or when you want to offer something from your personal life. If it's for the benefit of the client and it's appropriate, that's fine.
Yes.
But if it's because we're gonna have a venting session together, that's inappropriate. You need to go see your own
Right.
therapist, right?
Right.
But when you come across someone else, because you're going to meet a you in therapy. Oh, you will meet a you in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you get to a place that you can offer them compassion of having lost a family member in this way. I deeply understand versus I'm emotional, I can't think. And I love that self-awareness
Yep.
that you're already showing, Jessica, to do
Thank you.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, right on.
I've definitely feel like my experiences have shaped who I am as a therapist, and
Yeah.
how I kind of got through what I was experiencing too was, I was in a completely different place um when this was going on with my brother, and I just feel like that whole experience shaped me to be the professional that I am, and as compassionate and empathetic as I am. But yeah, but I've definitely noticed that I need to self-care definitely is important. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, it's not a luxury, Jessica. It is, to me, self-care and well-being are one and the same. And it's something that needs to be done daily. Just like we drink water, I hope daily, we eat daily and sleep daily and bathe. We also need to nourish ourselves daily, right? So like I love that you're reconciling that. Because I'm gonna be honest, back in my youth, I wasn't that way. I thought I was a machine. I thought I was a machine. I didn't have to sleep, drinking all the caffeine and no dose and 5 hour energies. Don't drink those. Those are so bad for you. It would make sense that my heart would crash, right? So like again, and I love that y'all are really way more differentiated than I was starting grad school, because I was 22 and life didn't hit me yet, right? Like I'm coming in just wanting to save the world. So I think that it's great that everyone's bringing their life experiences so they can parse out of like, what do I need and where is my boundary around these things? Yeah, yeah. But before I go to this slide, does anybody else want to share anything, any thoughts, anything?
Um, both of your comments reminded me of how great it was to be in grad school and to have frequent contact with the cohort, and
Mm,
have my own check-ins with my cohort helped me kind of gauge where my own mental health was.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me brag on you. Yeah, as you know, we met at 6 o'clock, 5:30 on Wednesdays. Y'all were like a family and y'all held each other up. And I love that. And I'm so grateful that I got to witness that from all of you. And we all needed to take a self-care day. You took it, and I respected it and you made it up and it was fine. But I love that y'all all were very differentiated in my internship. So yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful. Dr. Rox, I see you thinking. Please share. Ethics, my ethics guru.
I think what I like to say in track 2 when I'm prepping folks for internship is you know you're impaired when you don't care anymore
Woo!
about what the client is saying, right?
Yep.
You don't care, you can't connect. You're just going through the motions. And it's okay to recognize that if that's the truth. And I'm not, it could just be one client that you don't care about. And that's a different situation. That's okay. It probably is a trigger client or something. But if you're just not caring at all, I've had two situations of burnout. Well, one where it was 9/11 and I had 4 kids in 4 different schools and I was
Oof.
seeing a client in my private practice and the second plane had hit when I went in and I literally have no idea what the man said. It was his first session. Have no idea. I was not there. I was not in the session. I was somewhere else and I'd never had that experience before. Not being caught in curiosity or and the other thing was when one of my daughters was in a really bad place in her life and she was suicidal, she was having problems, and I just had to refer all my clients. I referred all my clients out. I worked with them and gave them to a colleague of mine because I couldn't care. I didn't care. I just was, so I think that for me, that's burnout, is when you just don't care anymore. You can't listen, you can't connect, you're not there.
Yeah,
So
I love that somatically. When you've left your body, you already know that's a sign, right? And I love that you brought that piece of like awareness, because if we're not aware and we're not present, clearly we're not doing good clinical work, right? We're not good professors, we're not good supervisors if we're not present in here. And people often ask me, well, Tequilla, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm present. And they're like, what? And I'm like, that's a compliment. Like, I'm here with you now. I'm fully engaged. I am present, right? Like, because I feel like our presence is the most highest thing you can give someone is presence, awareness, like the fullness of yourself. And like Dr. Rock said, if you're not present, that's already a sign that you probably need to take a step back, right? Because we're humans, we're human beings, not human doings. Yeah, beautiful, y'all. I love it. I love it. So I'll put this slide up. And I want everyone to answer these questions if you're able and willing. And hold on, y'all. My technology wants to not tech for me right now. Okay, here we are. Can everyone see my screen? Yes. All right. Again, you don't have to share. If you just want it to be for you, that's okay. How do you know when you're not caring for yourself? How does your self-care impact how you show up professionally? What are the major challenges that distract you from caring for yourself? Yeah. I'll give a really clear example for me, y'all. When I'm not drinking water, I know that seems like a really simple thing, but like when at the end of the day, if I'm like really dehydrated, I'm like, I get a C minus, D plus maybe today. Probably had coffee, which is kind of water, but I didn't have any like water. I didn't care for myself well. That to me is a sign I'm not hydrating. That means I'm not paying attention, because when I'm paying attention, I'm typically drinking water. If I'm skipping meals, right? If I got to the end of my workday and I haven't eaten or I haven't had my healthy and nourishing snacks, I know that I'm not caring for myself. That means that I didn't balance, right? If I'm not taking breaks, all of us work online to a degree. For some of us, we work online all day. If I'm not taking breaks and giving my eyes breaks, I know that I'm not caring for myself. So again, it doesn't have to be the big, it could be the small things, right? How do I show up professionally? I'm irritated. Now, if people who know me know that's not my baseline. But when I'm irritated, it's typically because I'm probably tired or I'm probably hangry, right? Of what challenges for me if I overschedule myself. I used to have a bad habit of over promising and under delivering. So now I try to like under promise and over deliver, right? Because I want to do all the things, because I love all aspects of this work, which is great, but it also has to have a balance. So for me, if I'm not honoring, because yes, I still use a planner, y'all don't laugh at me. I know this is like old school, but I still use a planner. I use all the fancy stuff too, but like this is, yes, thank you, Sue. Thank you, Dr. Rock. Show those, yes, y'all. Show me your planners. Like there's something tactile that when I write stuff down, it's real. If I pop something in my Google Calendar, it's like it goes into the atmosphere. I don't know where it goes. But for me, like scheduling, honoring time, I actually get more time. So for me, when I'm not doing that, like I'm distracted. So yeah, take a moment to answer these questions. You do not have to share. They're for you. Let's take about 3 minutes to answer these questions. They don't have to be perfect, y'all. Whatever comes up. You will not get graded on these questions. There will be no rubric for these questions. It's just whatever comes up, whatever comes up. How do you know when you're not caring for yourself? How does your self-care impact how you show up professionally? And what are the challenges that distract you from caring for yourself? And it is a safe space. So if you do decide to share on chat or verbally, you're safe. Two more minutes. I feel like I'm in a yoga class. One more breath. 2 more minutes. Everyone's thinking. I love these thinking faces on the screen. I love it. The academic nerd in me loves it. All right. For those of you who want to drop some of that in the chat, go ahead.
You should see the chat. It's pretty amazing.
I was trying not to look at the chat, Dr. Rox. This is going to distract, but I'm going to look. I'm just going to look right now. I'm just going to look a little bit right now. Okay. Yes.
There's one question from Jamie Thapp who
Okay.
says, I love how this is about self-care. And her question is, her husband asked, why does a therapist need a therapist? And she said self-care. But his reply was, why are you even doing it? And it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah. So what I would say to that is just because you might be great at holding space and helping people heal or solve problems or work through things, or you give great medicine, right? We're humans and we also need to be nourished, right? We need to be watered as well. That's why for some people they don't feel like they need to go to the gym or to the therapist or to the yoga studio, right? But for some of us need things like that. We need different things to nourish us. For some people, it's therapy. For some people, they go to the shaman. For some people, they go to yoga. For some people, they go to their church. We all need different stuff to stay well as humans. And that's just what it is. So he might not understand, but that's what I would offer him.
So Jamie, I have a thought. So you can counter a question with a question by asking him, so does that mean priests and reverends don't need to pray, or they don't need to go to retreats, or we need to continue to learn, but we are unhealed healers, right? So we need to continue to do this work ourselves, to connect to ourselves and to our clients.
I love that, Dr. Rox. Or like, does the doctor, the physician who that cares for us, do they need to not go to a physician because they're a physician, or the dentist who gets all of my money? Somebody has to clean their teeth. Okay. Right. I just, because we're masterful at something doesn't mean we don't also need that service too. Right. But I get it. A lot of people ask that question, what do you go to a therapist, or do you go to, yes, everything that I always say, everything that I offer, I'm typically a consumer of. That's what I always say. So I get it. So yeah. And
Thank you. I really appreciate all the feedback. My husband doesn't believe in therapy, so that's kind of where this is coming from. So he's very confused by it. So sometimes he gets me with these questions and I become stumped, but I'm really glad I brought it up, and I love the feedback from everybody who shared. So thank you so much.
Jamie, I feel like you're going to make him a believer. Let me tell you something.
I hope so.
You're going to make him a believer in that. He might not believe in therapy, but I think one day he'll respect it. I'm gonna manifest that. He's gonna respect it, I bet, because he's gonna see how happy you are, and when he sees how you're glowing and elevating from doing this beautiful work, he's gonna be like, wow, my wife is happy. I guess this thing is real. I love it. I love it. Anybody want to share? Unhealed healers, yeah. Healing healers, unhealed healers, all of it. All of it. We get to be human. Mm-hmm. Thanks for that, Jamie. Thanks for being brave and sharing that.
Jamie,
So,
I also see a lot of clients who believe how your husband believes. They're there, they're in therapy, and they think it's BS. They're like, I don't know why I'm here.
yeah.
And so we get to just say, all right, when you want to talk to me for an hour and see if it's worth it for you,
Yeah.
answer your own question, I guess.
Yeah. And and so you had a lot of clients that did not believe in therapy and you made them believers and you had to fire them all because they didn't want to let you go. So I still have clients that did not believe in therapy. I still see 3, 4, 5 years later. And I always joke with them. I'm like, you didn't believe in me and we're still here. So yeah. Yeah. Anybody want to share any of their responses? Any one of them or all, whatever you want to share. Okay, that's fine. I get it. I get the silence. I don't see hands. Somebody will have to catch that. So if you don't want to answer those questions, you'll probably answer these questions. These are the more the fun ones, right? The not as heavy ones. So I'm going to share my screen again. And tell me if you can see it. All right. Can we see it, y'all? Okay, here we go. These are the questions that therapists typically like. They don't like my other questions, but they do like this one. What do you need to refuel and refocus daily? What shifts do you need to make to meet your self-care needs? What is your self-care? How is your self-care, connected to the mental, physical, relational, and spiritual aspects of your life? Yeah. I know we don't love the other questions, but they mean something, right? In the duality of being honest about where we are in space and time, you have to ask those questions. Those questions too, as when I created them, those questions really are the ethical questions, right? So as a WMFT approved supervisor, when I'm, being with students clinically or in didactic courses, those are the questions I often give them, right? If I understand stuff is impacting their academic performance or their clinical performance, I start there, then I go here. It's like here is a little bit of the lemons, but I love lemons, and here is the honey, right? So you need both to make good tea, I always say. Yeah. So take a moment to look at those questions. And you cannot say take a vacation to Mexico. No, you can't say that. That's too easy. I'm talking about every day. Is it that chai latte? Is it the hot yoga, Roxanne? Because I could tell you hardcore with that yoga. Yes, hardcore with the yoga. Is it saying no? Is it having better boundaries? Yeah.
I'll share something.
Thank you,
So
Heather.
in between clients, I like to think of myself as an empty vessel for each of them. So I literally like shake off in my room the last client, do some stretches, just kind of refocus so that I can not think about that anymore and just give my attention to the next person. And then sometimes some of my hardest couples clients are my last clients of the day that are really like intense communicators, we'll call it, in the room. And so like music is a good therapy for me. And so I belt out some songs on the way home and just kind of refocus my attention so that I don't ruminate on things. And so that kind of helps keep me I guess compartmentalizing the things where they need to go.
Car karaoke. I like that, Heather. Okay, we're doing some car karaoke. Okay. I love that. I love that. What else? Little things.
Watch trash on TV. Sometimes I'll just go on my own and watch, a Tyler Perry movie or whatever it is to kind of do nothing with my brain.
I love that. Thank you, Dr. K. I love that. So you go to like no academia, no nothing. It's just like just some good drama, some good old Tyler Perry, like laugh. So comedy and some entertainment. Okay, Dr. K. I appreciate that. That's a good one. I love to laugh. Okay, I think Darby has their hand up.
Yeah, hi. I might be in the minority, but I'm a big gamer. So me and my husband do like a good hour of like, okay, let's step out of reality for a minute. Let's do something chill. Let's
Different realities, Darby. No, you are with like minds. Okay. I love different realities. I like that. That's great. Okay, gaming.
Yeah, I was like, gaming at the end of the day sometimes just lets me breathe a little bit.
I love that. Unplug. Right on, Darby. I love that. I love that. Okay, I think Abry Parrish.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'll actually touch on the last question into this question because it kind of related. So I feel like I know when I'm not taking care of myself, when I'm prioritizing everyone else in my life but myself. So I'll put my partner first. I am like, what do you need? How can I help you? And I'm just like so caring about him and everyone else. And then everything crashes and I'm like, oh wow, I haven't taken care of myself. Surprise, surprise. So for me it's about just coming back to like my physical body, like really taking a moment for myself, like hand on the heart and just being like very present in my physical body to be like, wow, you have to take care of this so that you can take care of others. So
right on.
That's kind of like those two things always do this dance that we're learning how to partner with a little bit smoother as we carry on in this journey here.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that awareness. Yeah, that you want to share energy from a place of overflow, right? Yeah. Thank
From
you for
abundance.
sharing. Yeah. Who else? I can't see all the hands, so just take yourself off mute and share. If we have any more shares. Okay, and also light up the chat. The chat's here. And yes, if y'all want me to, I can send some slides to you all if you want that. Okay, so this is probably my last slide before we do some somatic meditation, if everyone's okay with that. But this is something that everyone typically wants this slide. And again, this depends on what y'all want. I have no problem sharing. Okay. And there should be a slide here. And there's no slide here. Okay. This is my favorite mindset mantra. As I nourish myself, I can better nourish others. Let that sizzle in your spirit. As I nourish myself, I can better nourish others. This might sound crazy to some people. This might sound counterintuitive to some people, but I promise you, if you start to operate like this, you'll find that there's enough space for you and all the stuff that nourishes you, all the people that you love, and all the people that you get to care for. As I nourish myself, I can better nourish others. If we can take everyone off mute and we can just say that together twice, that will make my little heart just sing. Okay. If you don't want to say it with me, fine. It's okay. You can say it in your head, or you just listen and get the energy. I'm not asking y'all to chant today. Okay. You're lucky I'm not on that today. Maybe the next one. But if you're able and you're willing, would everyone like to say this mantra with me? Please so. Okay. So as I nourish myself, I can better nourish others. Repeat.
As
I
I
nourish
nourish
myself,
I can better
nourish
nourish others.
And as I nourish myself,
I can
As I
better
nourish myself, I can better nourish others.
my whole face vibrated when y'all said that. See? Thank you. I love it. My very, very first business coach, Dr. Monica Shaw, taught me intention, action, reflection. When you think about any new habit, because all of us are helping people create habits all the time, right? They say they take 30 days to make a habit. Well, I'm encouraging all of you to make this habit, right? Self-care intention. What is my self-care intention today? Am I going to add more water? Am I going to add more movement? Am I going to game some more? Am I going to go out in nature? Am I going to watch more Tyler Perry movies? Whatever it is, what is it for today? It can be small. We have time. Self-care action. What are the actions that are going to support this intention? Is it actually putting it in your planner or your Google or whatever, however you stay organized? I don't care how good you think you are. As your life gets more fuller and more expansive, you need more mechanisms to track all of that, right? Self-care reflection, taking a moment to breathe and download how you showed up in your intention and action that day. Intention, action, reflection. If you start this way, I promise y'all will build a practice of wellness, a practice of self-care with ease. New habits take time. Please be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself, right? All of you are quite aware, and it sounds like all of you know where your boundaries are, and you all know what nourishes you and you know what doesn't. Please hold on to that. Like my lovely old professor, that's now my lovely current peer, Dr. Roxanne, taught me it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. If something's not aligned, it's okay. If an opportunity comes and it's not an opportunity for you, you need to say no, say no. If your supervisor at work is pushing you too hard and it's making you go past your capacity, say no. If you lose your job because you said no to something that honors your well-being, it's not for you. It's not for you. Anything for you should not make you compromise your integrity or your well-being. If you operate in your integrity and your value system, you will always get things that are aligned for you. Okay? Let me get off my soapbox on that one. Okay. Now, the fun part. All right. So now, y'all, a little somatics. If everybody wants to turn their cameras off if they want to, I get it. If you feel more comfortable that way. If you want to keep your camera on, that's okay too. You are held in compassion and safety. But we're going to do a little somatic exercise and a little mantra to close up our time. So when everyone is ready and willing, allow your eyes to close and just settle. And just notice. Notice where you are in space and time. Finding a position that's comfortable for you. Connect with your breath without trying to change it. Connect with your breath without judgment. Inviting the body to settle. Noticing what it's like to stop. Just notice. Notice without judgment. And just be with your body. And be with your breath. Where is your breath? Are the breaths smooth and even? Are the breaths rushed? Are you breathing from your belly? Wherever you are with that beautiful, nourishing breath, give yourself permission to take a collective inhale with me through the nose. Deep inhale, bringing that breath up and up. Hold it and release. Relax your shoulders, soften your jaw. Breathe again, deep inhale. Exhale, release. Breathing in, breathing out. Breath in, breath out. If at any time the mind wanders, that is okay. It is the nature of the mind to wonder. Just bring yourself back to this moment by way of breath. Breathing, settling, grounding. Keeping this cadence of breathing if it feels right to you, or finding a cadence of breathing that feels good and nourishing to your body. Welcoming the practice of sweet stillness. Letting go of the day, leaving work at work, leaving school at school, inviting the body to go deeper into relaxation. Breathing in, breathing out. Soften your jaw. Relax the shoulders. Soften the belly. Now I invite everyone to take a quick scan of the body, noticing where you might be holding any tension or unwanted energy. Notice without judgment and simply breathe into those parts of yourself that need nourishment and need compassion the most. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breath in. Breath out. And just settle. Settle into the breath. As you inhale, inhale clarity. As you exhale, release what no longer serves you. As you settle and enjoy the sweetness of this time together, please take this love offering of a mantra for clinicians. You may quietly repeat after me to yourself, or simply listen to the sound of my voice as you breathe deeply. May I be able to care for and nurture others and myself so that I can attend to the needs of others with generosity, balance, and presence. May I develop equanimity and let go of expectations of healing or fixing or curing others. People heal and fix themselves. May I see my clients with a freshness of mind and an openness of heart. Breathing in, breathing out. While I care about the pain and suffering of others, I cannot make choices for or control the lives of my clients. May I accept the limitations of others with warmth and compassion, and may I accept my own limitations with the same compassion and kindness. May I see, hear, and know my clients in their wholeness and beauty, not just in their suffering and pain that they bring to our space. Breathing in, breathing out. May I see the goodness, the intelligence, and vulnerability in my clients this day and every day. May I continue to nourish myself so that I can support others in their well-being and their own personal journeys. Breathing in, breathing out. Breath in, breath out. Wherever you are in space and time, and wherever you are in your breathing, I invite everyone to place one hand on their heart and one hand on their belly. Sending the energy of compassion, sending the energy of peace to self by way of breath, breathing in, breathing out. Now sending that same compassion and peace to everyone that's in our meeting today, breathing in, breathing out. Now sending that same peace and compassion to the people that we love and the people that we care for. Breathing in, breathing out. Now send that energy beyond to all the places in our country, in our world, that need peace and compassion the most right now. Send it, direct it, breathing in, breathing out. Settle. Gently swallow. Wiggle toes, wiggle fingers, roll shoulders back, roll shoulders forward. And when you feel complete, open your eyes, come back to the camera, a little lighter, a little clearer, a bit more present. Right on time. How was that, y'all? Yeah. Hopefully Rox and them will have me back next time. Sign me up. Just go ahead and sign me up for another one.
Hey, Sue's in charge of that.
Sue, sign me up. Just tell me when the next date is. I'll be here.
I
Yeah.
think I was in charge for getting you in on this, but Rashonda's really in charge of
Okay,
you.
so I'll contact Rashonda.
Yes.
Just put me on
You'll be getting
rotation.
the email shortly.
All right, Rashonda. Yeah, put me on the rotation. Just, I love it. I love it. Thank y'all for receiving me. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Sue, for telling me in class to do this. Thank you all for your presence, for your essence. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for just being open to this stranger. I know I'm a little strange, but you know, Capella hired me, so I'm not that strange. But at any rate, yes. I hope everyone has a peaceful day.
Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Hill.
Thanks, Dr. Rox. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all around.